The story is about a boy named Andy Davis, who is playing with his toys, and his favorite toy is a cowboy named Woody. Everything was fine until on Andy's birthday, a Space Ranger toy, the World Protection Unit is called Buzz. It changes everything. Woody volunteers to see who the new toy is. When he goes to bed, Buzz targets him with his laser until he realizes he's a sheriff. He thinks he really came from outer space. The toys came to meet the Buzz, and from here, everything changed. Like posters, paintings, and the other things too. And all the attention goes to Buzz and Woody's jealousy. And Andy leaves Woody in the box with other toys and takes Buzz to bed with him. Start some alarming noises draw the toys to the open window, where they see the neighbor kid, Sid, about to blow up an action car, and the toys explain to Buzz that Sid has been torturing the toys. Seconds later, nothing is left of the toy and his canvas is thrown into the air. Time passes until Andy's mother tells him that they want to go to a space restaurant for dinner and he can bring a toy. Woody planned to hurt Buzz and succeeded in throwing him out of the window, and the toys attacked Woody after seeing this scene. Andy comes, and when he doesn't see Buzz, he takes Woody with him. Meanwhile, Buzz comes out of the bushes and gets into the back of the car. When Andy's mother stops at the gas station, suddenly the roof of the car comes in, and Woody was happy to see Buzz, but Buzz was still very angry. He attacked Woody and both of them fell out of the car and the car started to move. Fortunately, Woody sees another vehicle and he tricks Buzz into coming with him. Woody gets in the back of the car and Buzz in the front to fasten his seatbelt, and they head to the space restaurant. Using food parcels, they manage to get through the door, which suddenly climbs up into a clawed crane machine shaped like a spaceship, which he thinks is the ship Woody promised him. When Buzz enters, he sees a large number of aliens who believe that the claw is a god. Woody, who wants to take Buzz out, suddenly Sid comes and takes them home and immediately gives the three-eyed alien to Scud, who is a white and brown dog, and he starts chewing it. Sid takes a doll from his little sister Hannah and runs upstairs to treat her. Woody and Buzz, still in Sid's backpack, watch in horror as Sid replaces the doll's head with another toy's head. He happily gives it back to Hannah. Woody tries to get out of Sid's room, but the door is locked. He is horrified by Sid's nightmarish mutant toys, which Sid has butchered. Next morning, Sid interrogates Woody. Woody is saved when Sid is called away to eat his Pop-Tarts. Woody notices that Sid has left the door open. He finds Scud, scary even in his sleep. He backs up, but the ring on Woody's pull string catches on the wrought iron stair railing. Dog wakes up and comes to investigate. Buzz says, "Split up." Buzz sees someone asleep in a recliner and notices that the television is on. As a disclaimer that Buzz is not a flying toy, Buzz begins to believe that he really is, as Woody keeps telling him. He spots an open window in the stairwell and tries to prove himself wrong by flying through it. He bounces off the stairs and lands in the hall, losing an arm in the process. Hannah picks Buzz up and carries him off to her room, where Woody finds him playing the part of Mrs. Nesbit at a tea party. Hannah out of the room so he can rescue Buzz. He opens the window in Sid's room and calls over to Andy's room, where Ham is beating Mr. Potato Head at Battleship. Most of the toys seem glad to see him. He tosses a string of Christmas lights across and tells them to tie it to something, but Mr. Potato Head says, "How about we don't?" But Buzz won't come to the window where the toys in Andy's room can see him, though he does throw Woody his detached arm. Woody uses the arm to make the toys think Buzz is standing next to him, but eventually slips up and they see that the arm isn't attached to Buzz. They let go of the string of lights, which falls to the ground. When Woody begs them to listen, they leave the window. Sid's mutant toys have surrounded Buzz. When Woody tries to drive them off, the baby-headed spider comes at him and takes away Buzz's arm. And reveals Buzz with his arm reattached. He's trying to apologize when they all disappear under the bed and Sid comes back. Sid has a rocket. He picks up Buzz instead. "I've always wanted to put a spaceman into orbit." A rainstorm forces him to delay the rocket launch until morning. That night, Woody convinces Buzz that even if he's not a space ranger, life as Andy's toy is still worth living, though Buzz regains his spirit in time to see the moving truck pull up to Andy's house. But before they can escape, Sid wakes up and takes Buzz. Woody pleads with the mutant toys to help him rescue Buzz and they hesitantly join him. Woody approaches Buzz, who's happy to see him and asks for help getting loose. Sid comes out, then notices Woody. He tosses Woody on the charcoal grill and says, "You and I can have a cookout later." While he's focused on this, toys are taking up positions all around the yard. Before Sid can light Buzz's fuse, Woody's voice recordings start playing. one after another, reach for the sky. His string hasn't been pulled. A rag doll climbs out of the sandbox and walks across the yard. Sid is panic-stricken. He screams, throws Woody in the air, and runs into the house, where he tells Hannah the toys are alive outside. Woody and other toys are celebrating. We did it. As Buzz thanks Woody, Woody and Buzz rush over and Woody climbs on the back of the car, but Buzz, still burdened with the rocket, can't get through. Woody comes back for him. They manage to get on the back of the moving van, but Scud runs after them. Buzz, sacrificing himself to save Woody, jumps on Scud's head, making him let go of Woody. Woody climbs back on the truck and pries open the cargo door as the truck comes to a stoplight. Woody pulls out RC, the remote-controlled car, and sends him to get Buzz, who's under a parked car where Scud can't reach him. The toys in the van think Woody is murdering another toy and try to stop him. The strong man spins him around. Ham jumps on Woody. The wrecked cars cut the dog off from his quarry and RC pulls away. "Toss him overboard," he says, and they do and dash, but Woody holds on to RC's controller. RC sweeps Woody off his feet and Woody turns RC up to turbo so they can catch up to the moving truck. Lenny the binoculars notices RC and his passengers gaining on them and alerts the other toys. Slink, stretched past his limit, loses his grip and RC coughs to a stop in the middle of the road. Then Buzz remembers he still has a rocket strapped to his back, and Woody remembers he still has the match Sid put in his holster. He strikes it and is about to light Buzz's fuse when the wind of a passing car, but when Woody's hand starts to smoke, he realizes that Buzz's helmet concentrates the sunlight just as Sid's magnifying glass did. They use it to light the fuse. The rocket catches them up to the truck and lifts them off the ground. Buzz opens his wings, which apparently break the tape holding him to the rocket. They pass the truck again and fall through the minivan sunroof, landing neatly in the box next to Andy. And that was the best ending of Toy Story 1. And be ready, we are going to watch Toy Story 2. So let's go. As the movie begins, Woody is excited to be going to cowboy camp, a yearly event when just he and Andy are together. But before they leave, Andy accidentally rips Woody's arm. Andy can't fix Woody, so rather than take him to camp, he leaves Woody behind. The next day, Andy's mom holds a yard sale, and almost all the toys panic that they will be sold. However, the one in real danger is a little squeaky toy penguin named Wheezy, whose squeaker is broken. Woody manages to call Andy's dog Buster to help him, and they get Wheezy back in the house. However, Woody is left outside and is soon found by Al McQuiggan, the owner of AL's toy barn. Andy's mom quickly plucks Woody from the collector's grasp, saying that Woody is not for sale. When Andy's mom turns her back, though, Al manages to steal Woody, and quickly rushes off. The toys have seen this from Andy's room, and Buzz rushes outside to rescue his friend. However, the vehicle pulls away, but not before leaving behind a feather. Buzz also notes the license plate, which reads LZTYBRN. Back in Andy's room, the toys review the events as they unfolded, while Buzz uses Mr. Spell to help him decipher the license plate. Finally, he hits on the key, AL's toy barn. Meanwhile, Woody finds himself in an apartment, and once Al leaves, meets up with 3 other toys, a horse named Bullseye, a cowgirl doll named Jessie, and an in-the-box doll called the Prospector. Each of the toys is excited to see Woody, but he has no idea who they are. They show him around AL's apartment, where Woody soon learns that he was once the star of a popular children's show called Woody's Roundup. Back at Andy's place, the toys scan the television in Andy's room for a commercial advertising AL's toy barn. A rescue party is assembled, comprised of Buzz, Potato Head, Ham, Rex, and Slinky Dog. Buzz tells the others that they'll return before Andy comes back from cowboy camp. Meanwhile, Woody has been watching episodes of the old television show in AL's apartment, but is shocked when one episode ends on a cliffhanger. The next morning, Buzz and the other rescuers finally reach AL's toy barn and split up to find Woody. Buzz's journey takes him down the Buzz Lightyear aisle, where he sees multiple versions of himself. Noting a display toy with a new anti-gravity belt, Buzz attempts to take the belt for himself, but the display Buzz grabs him and subdues him. The diluted Buzz seals the real Buzz in a Buzz Lightyear box. When the others come along, they assume that diluted Buzz is their friend. Diluted Buzz goes off with the others as the real Buzz struggles to get out of his packaging prison. Back at AL's, the toy cleaner comes and fixes Woody, repairing his arm, then cleaning him and touching up his paint. The cleaner paints over the Andy scrawling on the bottom of Woody's boot, making Woody look just like new. Al then takes the photos he needs, and goes off to his toy store to fax the information over to Japan. Woody tries to tell Jessie about how great Andy is, but Jessie tells him that she once had an owner as well, named Emily. Jessie flashes back to her experiences of being loved, forgotten, and ultimately abandoned by her owner, Emily, depicting how as Emily grew up, Jessie was put aside, and finally tossed into a donations box, never to see her owner again. Woody quietly starts to leave, when the prospector warns that the same thing could happen to him, because he can't stop Andy from growing up. The group jumps into Al's satchel, sure that he'll lead them to Woody. Back in the Buzz Lightyear aisle, the real Buzz has freed himself, and seeing Rex's tail sticking out the back of Al's satchel, follows along a few steps behind. As Buzz exits the store, he knocks over a display, which also contains a boxed toy of Buzz's archenemy, Zurg. The toy sees Buzz running off and pursues him. Unfortunately for the toys, Al leaves his bag in the car, so they attempt to enter Al's building using the ventilation system and an opening into the apartment building's elevator. Eventually, they make it to Al's apartment and find Woody, quickly attempting to rescue him, but not before the real Buzz shows up and proves himself to his friends. Woody then shocks his friends, claiming that he actually wants to go to Japan. In a near reverse from the first film, Woody eagerly talks about the television show that was centered on his character, and all the related merchandise. Buzz reminds Woody that he once told him life was only worth living if you're loved by a kid. When Woody still refuses to go, the others decide to leave him. After they leave, Woody contemplates what Buzz said, and as an episode of Woody's Roundup plays on the TV, Woody looks at his boot, and scrapes off the paint covering the name Andy. Woody goes to the ventilation grate, and yells to Buzz that he's changed his mind. Woody is about to ask the prospector, when he finds the prospector out of his box, sealing off the ventilation shaft cover. The prospector's anger then comes out. He spent his entire life in a package, never bought, never loved. Woody's friends attempt to open the grate, but haven't succeeded by the time Al returns to take the gang to Tokyo. They are unable to get in Al's car before it drives away, but they borrow a Pizza Planet delivery truck that is running nearby. The duplicate Buzz stays behind. He's found Zurg. They're partaking in a father-slash-son game of catch. The group makes it to the Tri-County Airport and manages to get to the baggage area. Because there are numerous cases like Al's, the group splits up. Buzz is eventually able to find the right one, but not before the prospector pops out and punches him away. Woody faces off to fight the prospector, but not before the angry toy uses his pickaxe to rip the new stitching on Woody's arm. Plan is foiled when the rest of the group arrive. As Buzz holds the prospector aloft, Woody soon decides that the prospector could benefit from a little playtime, and the gang shoves him into a little girl's backpack. Riding on Bullseye, Woody and Buzz give chase, with Woody eventually making his way to the airplane. Jessie is pleased that Woody came to rescue her, but the joy soon turns to panic when the baggage doors close, and the plane begins to move. Woody and Jessie make their way out through an opening near the plane's front tires. Woody and Jessie manage to swing off the wheel well using Woody's pull string and hop aboard Bullseye just as the plane takes off. The next day, Andy returns from cowboy camp and eagerly looks for his toys. Andy patches up Woody's arm in his own special way, and writes his name on the bottom of Jessie's and Bullseye's feet. Woody is soon overjoyed to see that Wheezy has also been fixed. Woody and Buzz go over to the nearby window, where down below, Andy, Molly, and their mother are playing in the driveway. "I'm proud of you, cowboy," says Buzz, happy that his friend has come to terms with their uncertain future. And that was the best ending of Toy Story 2. And be ready, we are going to watch Toy Story 3. So let's go. Andy has grown up and doesn't play with his toys anymore, and it's time to go to college. With only a few days left until he leaves, Andy has not cleaned up his room. Andy's mom is having Andy's sister Molly clean her room as well. From Andy's room, the toys watch as Molly throws her Barbie doll in the donations box, along with some other toys. Andy finally takes out a black trash bag and begins to put his old toys into it. When he gets to Woody and Buzz, he hesitates before putting Woody in a box marked college and tossing Buzz in the black trash bag. Inside, the toys think they are going to be thrown away. Before Andy can go up, he helps Molly move the donations box downstairs. The lapse causes the attic door to close, and Andy's mom soon after finds the trash bag with the toys. Woody jumps out the window and slides down a pipe to the front lawn, only to see the trash bags thrown into the garbage truck and crushed. Shortly thereafter, Woody notices a recycling bin walking towards the garage. Following it, he is relieved to see that his friends escaped. However, they are now all convinced that Andy meant to throw them away. Woody tries to explain what really happened, but most of them just feel that he is in denial. Jessie soon notices the box of donations to Sunnyside Daycare, and proposes that they all go there. The trunk to the family minivan closes, and Andy's mom takes the box to Sunnyside. Andy's mom brings the toys into the butterfly room. Looking through the handle hole in the box, the toys are excited to see a group of children happily playing with the toys in the room. After the recess bell sounds and the kids leave the room, the toys eagerly escape from the box, only to meet a very friendly group of toys who are excited to see them. The group is soon joined by a strawberry-scented bear named Lotso, who soon calls his associate Ken. During the tour, Ken becomes smitten with Barbie, who finds herself drawn to him as well. Lotso explains that the toys are taken care of, and that due to a never-ending supply of kids coming and going, the toys will never be without someone to play with them. Andy's toys eagerly accompany Lotso over to the caterpillar room, where he then leaves them to experience their first playtime at Sunnyside. However, Ken and Barbie appear to have gotten along quite well, and Barbie eagerly goes back with Ken and Lotso to the butterfly room. Woody explains that while Sunnyside does seem great, he strongly believes they should go back to Andy. Woody asks Buzz to come back, but Buzz refuses, saying they should stick together. Realizing that the others won't accompany him, Woody sneaks out of Sunnyside, but not before accidentally losing his hat. In the process, a little girl named Bonnie finds him and takes him home with her. Back in the caterpillar room, recess ends, and the toys get their first playtime, only to find the room filled with noisy screaming toddlers, each of them rambunctious and not as delicate as Andy was. Once the daycare closes, the toys feel there has been some mistake and that they should be in the butterfly room instead. Buzz manages to get out of the room, intending to talk to Lotso. However, once outside, his attention is drawn to Ken and several other toys sneaking inside a vending machine. Buzz follows them, but is caught by a sleepy-eyed doll named Big Baby. Ken and the others take Buzz to the daycare's library and tie him up. Suddenly, Lotso comes across the other toys, and demands that they let Buzz go. Buzz thanks Lotso for helping him out, and makes his request for himself and the other toys to be transferred. Lotso admires Buzz's initiative, but is only willing to consider to have him join the butterfly room inhabitants. When Buzz refuses, Lotso orders Buzz held down and procures a Buzz Lightyear instruction manual from the library. Using it, the group of toys sets Buzz to demo mode. Buzz returns to the caterpillar room, where Buzz subdues his friends and places them in prison-like storage cages. Lotso explains how the daycare is run. All newcomers start in the caterpillar room with the ill-behaved toddlers. Also, as a warning, Lotso produces Woody's hat, although he doesn't explain what happened to the toy's friend. Barbie realizes that Ken lied to her, and as she refuses to be part of Lotso's regime, she's imprisoned as well. During the toys' day at Sunnyside, Woody has been in Bonnie's house, taking part in her imaginative fun and games. Woody grows excited to be part of a real playtime again, but longs to get back to Andy. Once the household is asleep, Bonnie's toys help Woody access the family computer. Woody is relieved to find that Andy's house is just around the corner, and one of Bonnie's toys named Chuckles begins to tell a story. Lotso, Chuckles, and Big Baby were once owned by a little girl named Daisy. Of the three, she loved Lotso the most. However, one day at a rest stop, the three toys were accidentally left behind. The three eventually made it back to Daisy's house. Lotso and Chuckles managed to look in her window, only to see that Lotso had been replaced. The next day, Woody sneaks into the daycare and moves around the building above the ceiling tiles. Finding his way into a hidden area of the caterpillar room, he chances upon a Fisher-Price chatter telephone. The telephone tells Woody that he should have stayed gone, and that there's no way that he and his friends can get out. Lotso's minions manning searchlights on the playground, trucks patrolling the halls and the playground, an 8-foot-high cinderblock wall, and a cymbal-clanging monkey that monitors the security cameras in the building. Woody joins his friends, who tell him that Buzz was reset to demo mode, and now they want to get back to Andy. Woody sets his plan in motion. Later that evening, the group springs into action. Mr. Potato Head creates a scene to get put in the box again, this time as a way to get outside and report for the group. Barbie pleads with Ken that she can't take being imprisoned, and Ken lets her out. He takes her back to his dream house, where Barbie subdues him, and using one of his outfits as a disguise, infiltrates the daycare library to find the instruction manual for Buzz. Woody and Slinky Dog infiltrate the main security room and take down the cymbal-clanging monkey. Rex and Ham start a fight to distract Buzz, allowing Jessie to escape. Then they trap Buzz under a plastic tub. The toys regroup and set about trying to get Buzz back to normal. However, a mistake in resetting Buzz sets him to Spanish mode. The gang gets to the end of the chute before plummeting into the dumpster, only to find Lotso, Ken, and his associates waiting, along with the chatter telephone, now broken by the bad toys. It is then that Woody mentions Daisy and produces the tag that Chuckles kept. Big Baby sees the tag, and Lotso declares that she didn't love them and replaced them. This revelation causes Big Baby to reach for the tag before Lotso destroys it. Big Baby, feeling betrayed, then throws Lotso in the dumpster. Woody goes to help him, only to have Lotso grab his hand. The others rush to help Woody, but just then, a dump truck pulls up and empties the contents of the dumpster. Inside the dumpster, more trash is emptied onto the group, and a TV set falls on Buzz and Dash, which sets him back to his proper self. However, before the toys can rejoice, the truck arrives at the Tri-County landfill. The toys avoid being shredded by grabbing metal objects that are being magnetized to an overhead track. Woody and Buzz even manage to save Lotso, who thanks them. Once they make it through, they find themselves on another conveyor belt, heading towards what looks like daylight. However, as they draw closer, they soon realize it's a large pit that empties into a fiery incinerator. The toys try to outrun their fiery fate until Lotso notices an emergency stop switch. However, once he reaches the button, Lotso just smirks at Woody, muttering, "Where's your kid now?" They try to climb out, but there appears to be no escape. With no hope left, the toys all join hands, willing to stay together to the very end. Suddenly, a blue light appears overhead, and a giant claw falls down, scooping up the group. As they wonder who rescued them, the enormous claw swings by the glass cabin of the machine, where the 3 Pizza Planet aliens are. Once the group gets out, they thank their saviors and wonder what became of Lotso. Unknown to them, Lotso is found by another garbage man at the dump. He ties Lotso to the grill of his dump truck and he heads off for Andy's toys. Find the dump truck that services Andy's neighborhood and manage to get back before Andy leaves for college. After cleaning themselves up, they sneak back into the house, finding Andy's room cleaned out. Hearing Andy and his mom approaching, Woody hops in the college box. While Andy is distracted by his sister Molly and his dog Buster, Woody grabs a post-it note and a marker and writes down Bonnie's street address. Andy returns to the room and sees the note on the attic box. Andy takes the box to the address and sees Bonnie playing in her family's front yard with the same quirky imagination. As Bonnie sees him approach, she stops her game and calls for her mom. Andy introduces each of his toys, telling Bonnie a little bit about each of them. Since he still remembers how he played with them, she peeks into the box and sees Woody. Andy has no knowledge of how Woody got in there. Andy sees Bonnie looking at Woody, and explains to her how important Woody is to him, how long he's had him, and how brave Woody can be. When she quietly nods an affirmative, Andy begins to play with her, and the two are having an imaginative time with their toys. Secretly, Andy's toys are overjoyed at their last playtime with him. Finally, Andy gets into his car, as Bonnie gathers her old and new toys on the porch. After Andy leaves, Bonnie's mom takes her inside for lunch, leaving the toys on the porch, watching Andy's car fade into the distance down the street. "So long, partner," says Woody. Woody smiles at the other toys. Woody introduces his friends to Bonnie's other toys. And that was the best ending of Toy Story 3. Hope you enjoyed, and be ready, we are going to watch Toy Story 4. So let's go. The film starts 9 years ago on a stormy night. Jessie and Bullseye are looking out the window for missing toys. Andy comes in with the other toys, but they are all panicking because RC has been left outside in a storm drain and is about to be swept away. However, when Woody climbs back up, he sees Mrs. Davis in Molly's room giving Bo's lamp away to a man. Woody rushes to the box where Bo is to try and get her back, but she is okay with this and is eager to move on. She invites Woody to join her, and he nearly does until Andy runs out looking for him. Woody sadly watches as Bo is taken away. 2 years later, Woody and the rest of his friends have been living with Bonnie and have enjoyed a new kid to play with them. Although, as of late, Bonnie hasn't played with Woody as much, leaving him in the closet to watch the others play. Bonnie's parents come in to tell Bonnie that she has to go to her kindergarten orientation, so Woody sneaks into her backpack to join her at the school. Bonnie sits alone sadly while the other kids do arts and crafts, and she is left with little to work with. Woody runs to the trash and manages to pull out a few things for her to use. Bonnie gets creative and starts to craft a new toy from a spork, a popsicle stick, some pipe cleaners, and a bit of clay, and thus, Forky is born. Literally, he comes to life in Bonnie's backpack when Woody sees him. They return home and he introduces everyone to Forky. He thinks he is trash and doesn't understand when Woody tells him he is Bonnie's new toy. Forky spends much of his time trying to jump into the garbage bin, with Woody having to push him back out when Bonnie wants to play with him. Bonnie and her parents head out on a road trip the week before she starts school. As Bonnie sleeps, Woody watches her to make sure Forky doesn't get away, and he is joined by Buzz. The two discuss their responsibilities as toys, but they notice that Forky is gone. Eventually, Forky jumps out the open window, and Woody runs after him, leading him to fall out of the RV. As they walk to catch up with everyone, Woody explains to Forky why Bonnie needs him and how great it is to be a toy for kids to play with. Later, Bonnie discovers Forky is missing and she becomes distraught. Woody and Forky make it into the town where the RV park is, but when they pass by an antique shop, Woody notices Bo's lamp and thinks she is around. They enter the shop and are found by a doll named Gabby and her ventriloquist dummy assistant Benson, until she mentions that her voice box is broken. She and the other dummies try to take Woody's voice box by force, prompting him and Forky to run when Gabby is distracted. Woody is found by Harmony, the granddaughter of the store owner Margaret and the same little girl that Gabby wants as her kid. Forky is left behind. Woody is taken to a playground, and when Harmony walks away, he retreats and tries to head back to the shop. Unfortunately, a bunch of other kids come around and start to play with the other toys scattered around. One kid picks him up and plays with him and Bo. The two then run away and catch up, with Bo learning that Woody and the gang have moved on from Andy to a new kid, while Bo had been kept in the antique store for 2 years before deciding to become an independent toy that helps other toys find kids. Woody tells Bo that he needs to find Forky, so she and Giggle agree to help him out. They ride her skunk mobile to get through crowds of people undetected. In the shop, Forky is being taken care of by Gabby and the dummies. They are found by Buzz. Buzz and Bo reunite, and they all team up to get Forky back. They find a Canadian stuntman toy named Duke Kaboom. He was previously owned by another boy, but he became disappointed when Duke couldn't do the same cool jump as the toy in his commercial. He promises to help Woody and Bo get to Forky after Woody suggests that he might find a kid to be played with. They are then joined by Buzz. They then head to the cabinet where Woody must jump with Duke off his motorcycle. As they attempt to make the leap, Duke becomes distracted by the thought of disappointing his previous kid and Woody flying on his own toward the cabinet. He finds Forky, but Gabby and the dummies attempt to take Woody's voice box again. In the chaos, Giggle gets eaten by Margaret's cat and the toys are sent out of the store. They split up, and Woody goes back into the store, with Buzz deciding to return to the RV. Woody finds Gabby and ultimately surrenders his voice box to get Forky back. Buzz returns to the RV and tells the toys that they need to get Woody and Forky out of the shop. At the same time, Bo decides to head back with Giggle, Ducky, Bunny, and the sheep to help Woody. The dummies put the new voice box in Gabby and watch as Harmony goes back into the store. She sees Gabby and briefly seems to like her voice, but she ends up tossing Gabby aside, leaving her heartbroken. Woody cheers her up by convincing her that they can get her adopted by Bonnie. Bonnie then goes to the store with her mom for the backpack. Bonnie finds Forky and is elated. Forky tells the other toys that Woody wants them to meet him at the carousel in the amusement park. Meanwhile, Woody and his friends use Duke and his motorcycle to make their way to the carousel. On their way, they see a lost little girl crying. Woody tells Gabby this is her chance to find a kid. Sure enough, the little girl spots Gabby and is comforted by her voice. She eventually finds her parents, and Gabby smiles at Woody as she goes home with the girl. The other toys come out to say hi to Bo, but they realize that Woody wants to stay with her. He gives Jessie his sheriff's badge, and then hugs all of his old friends goodbye, with Forky being the last. The toys rush back to the RV, where Rex asks Buzz if Woody is a lost toy now too, but Buzz says he isn't lost anymore. As Woody and Bo watch from the top of the carousel, Buzz gives one last, to infinity, which Woody replies with, and beyond. And that was the best ending of Toy Story 4. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you next time.